And we're back, ladies and gents, to game 2 here between Glacial, Omen, and Imagine Wagons. I'm Random Minion Caster, and this is game 2 with both teams switching up their sides. Imagine Wagons on the blue sides here, Glacial Omen on the red side. No change in players, but huge changes here in the picks and bans. And just a quick look here at the bans from Imagine Wagons. They're going to ban out Morgana, Syndra, Vladimir, and Cassiopeia. So once again, a lot of focus into that mid lane. They don't want to see that Cassiopeia again from Ishan. It was too clean last game. They just could not find a way to kill it. On the side of Glacial Omen, they're going to ban out Darius, Warwick, Orianna, Shen, and Ornn. So again, targeting that top lane. And XX Wolf was the player for the side of Imagine Wagons to go fairly even last game. So definitely a solid decision there on the team to try and ban it out. In terms of picks for Imagine Wagons, Amumu, Jinx, Nami, Malphite, Corki just completely switching up their game plan here. Going for that AoE Wombo combo. Tons of engage drafted for their team this time. Complete opposite here of game 1. And on the side of Glacial Omens, Jarvan, Galio, Caitlyn, Nautilus, and Volibear. Two things actually here for Glacial Omen. I really like the Galio pick this time. It will be going to Ishan as the bot lane will be Caitlyn, Nautilus, and I like the way that they flex the Galio into the support position. It allows them to pick Galio first rotation, and Imagine Wagons not going to be able to confirm whether that's support or mid lane. Will not be able to counter pick it immediately. So nice play here in the pick and ban phase. Solid drafting from Glacial Omen. And the other thing I want to talk about was the Volibear here for the side of Glacial Omen. I personally am a huge fan of the bear, but so far we've only seen him in the jungle, and he's been an absolute monster in the jungle, able to gank lanes very easily, very tanky at 6 additional damage, and the Ohm Wrecker passive on his ultimate Stormbringer there. Absolutely huge. And we've, like I said, not seen a lot of the Ohm Wrecker ultimates, mostly coming from Chef Boy, but even without it, just the ability to gap close and do the damage has been massive. Now, we are most likely going to see this in the top lane by Zero Zan RL, as we do see the Jarvan 4 was the first pick here for Chaotic Obsidian, and I really am looking forward to seeing this, because Volibear can be played in the top lane, can be played in the jungle. In fact, it used to be more commonly seen in the top lane, and with the new kit, is able to pump out a lot of damage, especially percent health damage on these tanky top laners will be good for him. And the ultimate as well, Stormbringer, if used well, can actually dodge out the unstoppable force, and even if it does land, can sometimes catch Malphites by surprise with how tanky the Volibear suddenly is. Now, in terms of how these compositions will play out on the side of Imagine Wagons, their early game is going to be a little rough here. I'm not expecting them to win that early game. Malphite into Volibear favors the Volibear. Jinx, Nami against Caitlyn, Nautilus. We've seen Caitlyn paired with any support with tons of CC, and it's really nasty here. The Morgana was banned, but Nautilus able to fulfill a similar role with the dredge line there, as well as the stuns just from the auto attacks will allow it to be chained into the traps, and you get locked down. You take a lot of critical damage from that Caitlyn. So Monomania and Spendle will have to be careful there. Nami is really strong in lane though, so we'll be able to mitigate some of that. It's all going to come down to whether or not they can sidestep those dredge lines, those traps, and just generally avoid getting CC'd up. In the mid lane is where they're going to have to look to try and find an early game lead here. Corki against Galio. Galio often winning that matchup, but Corki does have the range. We'll be able to poke him down, and if Granddaddy Jax chooses to focus that lane, we could potentially see the side of Imagine Wagons find a lead somewhere. And really, they just need to get out of the laning phase intact without losing too much, and the mid game should be theirs here. They have a ton of AoE CC, and as the game goes on, they skill up really nicely as well. Jinx, absolute monster in the late game. We've seen it here in the league. We've seen it in the pro play. We've seen it in solo queue. I'm sure that one monster Jinx who ends up 1v5ing, and with the Corki, they'll have tons of burst as well. Corki as an ADC will scale nicer into the late game than a Galio will. So effectively, we are seeing Glacial Omen here on a bit of a timer. They do have a bit of late game insurance in that Caitlyn, but between a Caitlyn or a Jinx in the late game, my money is going to be on that Jinx here. And with that, we are going to head in to Summoner's Rift. And last game saw both teams aggressively invading at level 1, looking to try and find and get some kills. Game 2 here, we are seeing the side of Glacial Omen grouping up, and they're once again just going to send one person down, get a ward on the side of the map that they are not invading on. So Zero Zen, the one this time being sent to make sure they get a little bit of vision. The other 4 gonna walk into that top side, look to invade in the jungle here. And they are gonna spot XX Wolf out. Will not find him. The dredge line gonna not connect with anything, it looks like. And now XX Wolf just taunting a little bit as his team is there to back him up. Can they clear that ward fast enough? No, they can't. And so both teams just gonna peek by, say hi, and walk away. They will get some vision down onto the blue buff here for the side of Glacial Omen, so we'll be able to know. But they're not done yet. They do manage to land the dredge line. This time it's going to be onto Wagons. He's almost going down. The ignite, the last auto, flash auto from Arizona, gonna pick himself up first blood, and that's gonna be absolutely huge for the side of Glacial Omen. Gonna have that nice 400 extra gold in the pocket. Arizona gonna go back to base and buy immediately, going with the longsword and pot. Bit more sustain, and that little bit more of an edge in lane can be absolutely massive. Definitely a worthwhile trade for the flash there. But with that flash down for the next 5 minutes, we could potentially see Granddaddy Jax looking for a gank in the bot side. Is going to start on the red buff there, so will most likely end up ganking mid or top. Mumu not necessarily the fastest or safest early game jungler there, so the ganks usually we don't see them at level 2 unless they're cheesing. So Granddaddy Jax will probably find himself on the other side of the map by the time it comes time for him to comfortably gank. And we do see here now Chaotic Obsidian looking to invade. He knows that Granddaddy Jax wasn't there. They had the vision. He's going to round the corner and find Granddaddy Jax on the woes there. Now going, applying quite a bit of damage. They both have red buff. The smite coming from Granddaddy Jax to keep himself healthy. And it's going to be Chaotic Obsidian now smiting. Will be able to pick up the big wolf there, but has to be careful. Wild Goose Chase has arrived, and now so has Ishan. Flag and drag coming out, and Granddaddy Jax might go down here. A good flash will not keep him alive as the red buff gonna tick down and burn him. Roasting him, giving a kill over the way of Chaotic Obsidian. Top lane, Zero Zen finding a solo kill as well. Just action across the map here. And that suddenly catapults Glacial Omen up about 1,500 gold before 3 minutes. This is absolutely massive. Now Zero Zen though might have overstayed his welcome a little bit, but no, manages to get the shield up, and with the level lead and the minions on his side is going to force XX Wolf to back off. Half health the moment he showed up in lane. That's going to be real rough for him. And there is TP advantage right now to Zero Zen. We'll have to see if he decides to use it to teleport back to lane. But the dredge line in the bot lane has landed. Chompers coming down will stop Arizona from following up, but Spenlow gonna be taken really low. There has to be careful. He gets hit by one more dredge line. We could be seeing sashimi on the menu tonight. And Zero Zen did opt to use his teleport immediately to get back into lane. Gonna match XX Wolf there, running in mid lane though. Ishan with the taunt, with the continued damage. Winds of War is gonna bring Wild Goose Chase very, very low here, and all the range advantage in the world is not going to matter if you're standing right next to your opponent. And a good Justice Punch just barely will keep Ishan safe from the bandage toss bot lane. Monomania gonna be hit with the dredge line this time. Gonna take a lot of damage, and so far I've got to say Monomania landing more of those roots than Arizona right now. The battle between traps seems to be going Monomania's way, but he is taking a lot of damage. That the longsword starting to make a bit of a difference in the lane here, not to mention the range as well from that Caitlyn early. Caitlyn really, really strong lane bully here, and Arizona is taking use of that. The farm difference though, not really showing it in that bot lane. Monomania down about 7 CS, but part of it is just the wave being pushed in right now. Now Granddaddy Jax not having a good game right now. Is getting pushed around. Does have to be extremely careful. Is only level 3. There was no disconnect this time. That's just a straight level lead here from the side of Chaotic Obsidian, and he's got the entire team backing him up. Zero Zen invading, Ishan backing him up, and that's just making Granddaddy's life a little piece of hell right now, because his lanes are not able to follow. And I am expecting Glacial Omen right now with the lead to be the ones to start looking for that Drake once again. First, that is an Ocean Drake once more. It worked so well for Glacial Omen last game on the blue side. It gave them a ton of sustain and helped them win their lanes. They're already winning the lanes here, so they'll be able to win it that much harder if they can get themselves the Ocean Drake. And as if they can almost hear me, Chaotic Obsidian going to head straight to that dragon. Will know he's safe. They did spot Wild Goose Chase backing in the mid lane. Will know he's not there. Bot lane, they're pushed up so aggressively so far, and they've got the ward as well in the tri-bush. So they will know for sure that Chaotic Obsidian going to be able to safely secure that with zero contest here. Chaotic Obsidian is getting taken very, very low though. Is trying to hold that smite to secure. Will be able to do so, and that's going to be first Drake going the way of Glacial Omen here. And that's going to be bad news. Bear in that top lane because he's got sustain. He's already ahead. He's tanky, and he's going to keep chasing this hunk of rock, just gnawing away at it. And XX Wolf getting forced off the wave again. Is starting to lose quite a bit of CS here. Does have to be careful. Stormbringer available for 0 Zen as well, so we could potentially see a turret dive in the top lane if this situation goes on. And XX Wolf will have to be aware of that. We'll have to be very conscious, and will have to watch his health there because he can get bursted down. Even if he does get the Unstoppable Force off, the Stormbringer at level 1 is a 3-second Ohm Wrecker passive on that turret. Another good bubble landing onto Willowhaven there in the bot lane. Spenlow just absolutely nailing the bubbles, but unfortunately he's getting nailed by dredge lines as well. And at the end of the day, if you have to trade spells, it's going to be Willowhaven on that Nautilus who will come out ahead each and every time they opt for those trades. And a bit of a slowdown here from both teams. Herald not yet spawned. Will be coming up in about 40 seconds. So Chaotic Obsidian gonna continue his counter jungling ways on the bot side, clearing out everything he can find. But there's really not much there because Granddaddy Jax just ran through the bot side. The Krugs will be available, and that is probably the only thing he can take here. He could also potentially look for a dive in that bot lane, but they're really healthy right now. Not much poke landed thus far. Monomania back in lane with that BF squad. Arizona matching as well. Now the dredge line coming out. They will split Spenlow from Monomania here. Can they go in? The flag and drag gonna not land as Spenlow able to flash his way out to safety. Yet another bubble landing there. And the dredge line now gonna come onto Monomania. Heroic entrance from Ishan coming down. Flag and drag across, but there's no Cataclysm to follow up. Chaotic not yet level 6. Arizona not 6 yet either. They're gonna run in the Justice Punch. The passive able to find both Monomania and Spenlow there, but Wild Goose Chase has arrived, and Ishan tanked up the turret a little too long there. The stopwatch gonna come up from Willowhaven to dodge the big one. And he's going to be able to stay alive for now. While all this was happening, Granddaddy Jax taking the opportunity to counter jungle for the first time this series. More than happy to return the favor here. Super Mega Death Rocket coming across. So close. Going to take the Chaotic Obsidian and Willowhaven really low. The Missile Barrage coming out from Wild Goose Chase will force the flash out of Willowhaven as well. That's going to be a lot of flashes expended on the side of Glacial Omen. All 4 down right now for that bot lane turret dive. They only found the double kill, did not manage to take the turret. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be worth it. We'll have to see if Imagine Wagons can punish them for that over-aggression in that bot lane, the overextension. If they can't, then Glacial Omen's going to just keep pulling their lead ahead because they're already up almost now 3,000 gold before 10 minutes here. They have a lead and they know how to snowball. They're absolutely doing work. But I like to see this adaptation here from Granddaddy Jax. He spoke about it last game. If they take a dragon, you take the Herald. Make sure that you always be trading. And they do manage to pick themselves up the Herald here in the game. Will potentially look to get some plates, even up the gold gap a little bit. Right now, none of the turrets on the side of Glacial Omen have taken any damage, so we won't be seeing the first turret go down on the Herald drop, but still, the plates will be extremely valuable for them. While things are looking a little bad here for the side of Imagine Wagons, not all hope is lost. Wild Goose Chase now going on to Chaotic Obsidian. Might be able to win the 1v1. Has the level lead, but he's going to call in Granddaddy Jax for insurance. A good Valkyrie out of the Cataclysm as well. And the Cataclysm stopped the Justice Punch from Ishan. And now Unstoppable Force from XX Wolf coming in. Stormbringer going to be used from Zero Zen IRL. And that's going to be a very, very tanky bear. Winds of War going to dissuade for now. Now bot lane action popping up as well. The depth charge going to find Spenlow going to go down here potentially. Ace in the Hole will find him the stun onto Mono Mania. Can they get the damage? Mono Mania able to find the kill back onto Willow Haven. Is excited. Will be able to run away from Arizona. And meanwhile on the top side we did see Wild Goose Chase go down. XX Wolf a bit hesitant on whether to go in or not. Will end up dying with a fist to the face from that Galio. And somehow through all the action there, it's going to be Glacial Omen coming out ahead in that trade, extending their lead even further, right past the 3k gold mark, now looking at the 4k gold mark instead, as they manage to pick up yet another plate. And as if on clockwork, that Cloud Drake spawning just in time, Chaotic Obsidian in the area there, they just want to fight. And as if to add insult to injury, they will be able to pick themselves up another Drake as well. But this time Granddaddy Jax doesn't want to give this one over. He actually has the level lead on Chaotic Obsidian, has the smite advantage, is going to look to steal this one here. And the Dragon looking to reset here. The bandit shot's not going to land, but they do manage to chase off Glacial Omen, and that's going to be a free Drake here from the side of Imagine Wagons. Well played from them. Granddaddy Jax making a return here after a rough early game. That Amumu starting to scale up, and we're starting to see the strength here of the Imagine Wagons composition. It's starting to hit that mid-game point. The ultimates here unlocked across every single lane. And the AoE layering, the Tidal Wave, the Unstoppable Force, the Curse of the Sad Mummy, that's going to give them so much time to pick and choose their targets, but they do have to be careful. A good yet another dredge line here from Willowhaven onto Mono Mania. Ace in the Hole going to come across, going to find Spenlow here, but they're tanky enough. They can keep chasing this potentially Chaotic Obsidian now showing in that bot lane, but he's walked on top of a ward, and that's going to cause Mono Mania and Spenlow to just back far away here. Granddaddy Jax is waiting in the wings. He's played this game pretty well thus far, and is going to now look for the counter here. The turn will be able to get onto Willowhaven. Can he find the Curse of the Sad Mummy? Yes, he can, and it's going to be onto 3 there. The heroic entrance now from Ishan is going to be able to find Granddaddy Jax. He's on a trap. Will he go down? No, the flash is enough, and a beautiful bubble yet again. Catching 2. It's going to stop the engaging. That's going to be a 1-for-0 in the bot lane with Ishan using his ultimate there. Going to leave Wild Goose Chase free to push or roam as he sees fit. And extremely well played from the side of Imagine Wagons. Great baiting there. They knew that they had reinforcements on the way. Baited Willowhaven out. Baited Chaotic Obsidian. Managed to get the kill, and now Wild Goose Chase returning the favor from Ishan, looking for a gank. Will force the flash out of Zero Zen, but he will remain safe and is right now absolutely dominating XX Wolf there. We do see Shelly being popped. That's because they're running out of time on it. We'll drop it into that bot lane, but it's really far away from the turret. They'll have to walk that one in. And we see the teleport actually coming out from Ishan into the bot lane once again. Not quite sure if he was looking to just push, because Arizona was already there, and they are going to be able to potentially take this Herald out before it gets a chance on the turret here. And the pings have come down. Glacial Omen have decided it's go time, and they're going to look for the first turret for themselves. That bot lane turret already extremely low. Will be an easy first take. And Ishan, after teleporting to that bot lane, unable to find anything, is going to go back to the mid lane there. Top lane, though, a good gank from Granddaddy Jax will finally find Zero Zen. Will finally kill him. And now, Spenlow has to be careful. The Cataclysm going to find Spenlow, and there's nowhere for him to run. The flash was already used. Very patient hope from Chaotic Obsidian. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes across. Will not be able to find Chaotic Obsidian. He's going to survive by the hairs on his chinny chin. And that's going to leave Mono Mania now facing a 1v2. Has to be careful. Is pretty strong. Has the components here for what looks like might be an Infinity Edge, but it's still components. Doesn't yet have that crit burst. And we do see Wild Goose Chase there as well. Has the package. Might be looking for an engage. but will not chase after them. Has lost vision on the majority of the team here, and we take a quick look at the vision. There's no vision on that bot side there. And with that, they suddenly lose vision on the entirety of Glacial Omen. We'll have to be careful. Glacial Omen just resetting here, going back to base and buying in. Their vision too has lapsed. They do have a bit of vision on that bot side, but it's going to get cleared out right now by Spenlow. Dragon's not going to be up for another minute, and we do see now Imagine Wagons just pushing out that bot wave, looking to try and answer back on that turret. Jinx able to shred turrets, but Ishan is once again in the bot lane. It looks like they've called for a lane swap. Arizona and Willow Haven going up to the mid lane instead. And Ishan does have to be careful. The chompers, the bubbles there can lock him down, and Monomania will be able to shred right through him. He doesn't have armor built, did build the magic resistance instead to deal with Wild Goose Chase in the mid lane thus far. And Herald is up right now. We do see Chaotic Obsidian, Zero Zen looking for it. Are chasing out Granddaddy Jackson XX Wolf as well, and we might potentially see the first 5v5 here on the Herald. Spenlow getting hit by yet another dredge line. That's going to be one very, very dead fish. Granddaddy Jax getting knocked up time after time. More airtime than Tony Hawk on a skateboard. And with that, they find 2 kills in that such a chaotic fight. It wasn't quite the 5v5 we wanted to see. Wild Goose Chase and Monomania sort of forced out the back there, not really able to pump out the damage, and they're going to run straight over to the Dragon. Just going to trade objectives right away here. Well played from them. That's going to be an Inferno Drake as well. Inferno going to be the Drake from here on out on the map. On the side of Glacial Omen, they're going to be happy to trade that. They don't mind giving one Drake over. It's not the end of the world, especially when they're up 5,000 gold at 17 minutes in. They're going to drop Shelly right away into that mid lane. It looks like they're rotating actually to the Dragon. I'm not sure why they're doing that. There's nothing left. They saw the Herald go down. And with that, Shelly going to get a charge off into the turret. It's only going to be a Shan in the mid lane. Arizona not there to take it. Can they finish this turret off? Yes, just barely, but it's gonna force the flash out of Arizona there. As XX Wolf coming in from the side did not have unstoppable force available, but Arizona not wanting to mess around will get slowed by the Nami. So it's going to be Granddaddy Jax picking up the kill there for that one. Night and day here from game 1 for Granddaddy Jax. Because he did not disconnect, because he could play out the entire game here, you can see how influential he is. 2-3-2 right now is one of the major playmakers for his team. Highest KP tied alongside Monomania. And they managed to fire back and find themselves their first turret of the game as well in the mid lane. That's both mid lane outer turrets going down in a quick, short, and vicious trade there in the mid lane. That's going to open up the map quite a bit here, and that might actually end up favoring Glacial Omen a little bit. They have a very mobile team. Ishan is able to get around the map, so will be able to take advantage of more space there on the side of Imagine Wagons. Though they actually want fights on open ground there where they can get their AoE CCs off together. We didn't see it last fight, but we might see it next fight. I certainly hope we do. We did see a ton of AoE ultimates being thrown onto Granddaddy Jax, just constantly knocking him up, kept him from effectively doing anything after he got the curse of the sad mummy down. Then the AoE CC there did also have the side effect of just zoning out the rest of Imagine Wagons. They didn't want any piece of that, and because of that, we did see Monomania and Wild Goose Chase unable to get in there and output the damage that they need to do. 5,000 gold lead here. Glacial Omen still managing to snowball their lead bit by bit. They would probably win any fight they so pick right now, but they do have to remember they are on a timer here. Monomania is scaling. Wild Goose Chase is scaling. Has the tier stacking there for Wild Goose Chase. Should be able to pick himself up a Trinity Force soon enough. And once he does, we'll be able to start doing that much more damage. They've now caught Chaotic Obsidian out. Zero Zen on the side there, trying to help him get out here. But Chaotic Obsidian not able to find quite the distance he needs. The flash, flag, and drag here. And he's bought both time and distance as Zero Zen now coming in with the rest of the team. Gonna force the flash both out of Spenlow and Granddaddy Jax, but Spenlow still will go down despite the flash being blown there. Very, very unfortunate for him, and he's not having a good game. 0-5-3 right now. Glacial Omen just punishing the immobile, squishy support there. Spenlo just having to give his life up time after time because nobody is gonna back him up, and they're certainly not gonna trade Monomania for that, so it's gonna have to be Spenlo instead on the chopping block. And with that, Glacial Omen will be able to turn right onto Baron as it spawns 20 minutes, and they're immediately right onto it. Yesterday in the Silver Division, we did see teams doing that as well. I believe it was Hype Esports starting up some of the earliest Barons in the game, and right now Glacial Omen contesting them, and we might see a 5v5. The Valkyrie coming across, but he's going to get zoned out by Arizona instead. Granddaddy Jax is the one who might go down first. XX Wolf actually getting caught instead. Will get burst down. They finally find Wild Goose Chase on the back here. And now Spenlo dead once again. Monomania, the last one left alive here for the side of Imagine Wagons, will be able to fire back, at least pick one kill up for himself. Willow Haven going to be the one going down there. And I did say, if Glacial Omen starts the fight, they're gonna win it. They were up 5,000 gold. They're now up almost 7,500 gold, and they're going on to Baron. This should be an easy Baron take for them. Just have to be careful of their health, but we're seeing the teleport come down from Zero Zen. He'll be able to tank it out. Chaotic Obsidian might drop here. Will be kiting around, but it's still extremely low. Is slowly regenerating. That Ocean Drake doing work. It's a slow take here at 20. He's gonna go down. He should have smited for health, but he was a little overconfident. Just gets popped by Baron there. Baron doing work here for Imagine Wagons, and it's gonna be Baron on 4 members. Unstoppable Force coming across, will be able to find and shut down Arizona. That's 300 gold going the way of XX Wolf on the bounty, and now Zero Zen has to be careful. Still has his turret up, but those are 2 tanks. They will happily dive him. That's a double kill for Granddaddy Jackson. Suddenly they are Mumu, the most fed member of his team. Only 2 members left with Baron buff here for the side of Glacial Omen. And Imagine Wagons finds a way to punch back, keeping the gold lead at that 7,000 gold lead, stalling out the Baron push for now. And after doing all that, they're going to go and find themselves yet another Drakes. They might be down in kills, might be down in turrets, but in terms of neutral objectives right now, they're pretty much even here. Just have to stall that Baron push for the next little while. Thankfully for them, Monomania is scaling up quite nicely, has now completed the Infinity Edge, has the Zeal item as well, will be able to just shove the Baron minion back away from the turrets. We'll be able to clear them a bit, so should not lose too much here on this Baron push. If we look across the map though, Arizona 7-2-4, once more doing really well for himself on a safe range ADC here. Ishan 6-1-5 has gone down this game. Not quite as immortal as game 1, but still 6-1-5, an amazing scoreline here, 11 KDA. And they're going to look to continue pushing, taking advantage of what Baron buff they have left. Do have to be careful though. Flag and Drag going to find Granddaddy Jax, but that's Zero Zen under turret, tanking it up. Heroic entrance here going to be used, giving him some resistances, and they do manage to somehow burst down Granddaddy Jax, who is going full tank here under his own turret. That's not good news for the side of Glacial Omen, because they can just rinse and repeat here. They do have the Ocean Drake as well, will be healing up slowly, but Zero Zen going to be forced to walk away here. Going to clear Scuttle and heal himself up a little bit. Most likely not going to see the dive. All 4 members here of Imagine Wagons have arrived, so it will be a 4v4 in the mid lane. They're going to send Zero Zen to split push the bot lane here for himself. He does not have teleport, so they do have to be careful. Granddaddy Jax also just respawning. Might look to find a 5v4 engage here for themselves, but instead it's going to be Chaotic Obsidian pulling the trigger here. Gonna do the flag and drag, but the Curse of the Sand Mummy has arrived. They're gonna find Ishan under the turret. He's gonna tank up the turret, but so tanky right now with the Abyssal Mask, able to just survive the turret, as well as the entirety of Imagine Wagons wailing on him there. Will remain alive, gonna keep his KDA solid for now. And we did see Granddaddy Jax going in. Looks like he's the one who managed to secure his blue buff away from Chaotic Obsidian there. So gonna thank Chaotic for starting that one up. Just had to walk in and pick it up with his smite there. And both teams going to reset a little bit after all that action. 8k gold lead, so about a 1k Baron power play here from Glacial Omen. Not the largest, but they didn't lose ground at least, and that will allow them to go back to base and buy. Arizona going to pick himself up a Storm Rager as well. We'll be able to apply the slow Kershey's Shard as well. So lots of focus here on the attack speed for now from Arizona. Ishan just building components. We are seeing here the adaptive helm completed from Chaotic Obsidian will help him do a lot better against Granddaddy Jax as well as partially against Wild Goose Chase as well. Trinity Force and Blade of the Ruin King here for Zero Zen. So he's going almost full damage right now. Not very tanky. We saw that in the last dive. He dived in, had to disengage almost immediately there. So wasn't able to continue the 5-man siege. Across the map here, XX Wolf has the Sunfire Cape completed, building into the Thornmill there, but does not have that one quite ready yet, and it's a solid pickup here, primarily AD damage coming out from the side of Glacial Omen. A lot of auto attackers as well, so Ishan most likely not going to have enough damage to just shred right through a tank that is Malphite in the jungle. That's a full tank of Mumu. We are not going to see a ton of burst from Granddaddy Jax. He's just looking to try and survive in these fights for now. Mid lane, the Trinity Force completed for Wild Goose Chase has not yet completed the Manamune, so will not have the additional damage burst from that. If we take a quick look, that tier is fully stacked here for Wild Goose Chase. He's been taking it all game and will be more than happy to be able to complete that item and finally unleash his tiers on the enemy team. Monomania able to complete the Hurricane as well, which that's 2 item spike here for Jinx in team fights. She's going to be able to start pumping out those damage. And before we had seen Glacial Omen just running over any fight that they started, they're going to have to be careful now. While they definitely are still extremely strong, still have that 8,000 gold lead split fairly evenly across the team here. They do still have to be careful of letting Monomania just free fire from the back and getting the Super Mega Death Rocket to execute low health targets. If she gets excited, it's going to be nigh impossible for them to catch her. Most summoners up across both teams as well. Only the heal down for Arizona and the flash for Wild Goose Chase as well. The Drake is coming up, and surprisingly, despite being down for most of the game, this is sole point for the side of Imagine Wagons. They also have parity for Smite, so this could come down to a Smite fight. If they can get this, this could be the turning point here. Tidal Wave coming across. Arizona going to be the one to secure the Valkyrie as well with the package, but Granddaddy Jax is in the midst of it. Can they get the Unstoppable Force off? They're going to get it off onto Arizona. But unfortunately, Monomania are going to get burst there. Chaotic and Zero Zen just focusing him down. And that's going to be that super dangerous team fight Jinx did. Zero Zen now able to start applying damage. Blade of the Ruin King doing work. And it's going to be the War of the Tanks here winning out. Glacial Omen with their tanks surviving. Arizona got popped immediately. Monomania shortly after. And it's just a sustained damage from that squishy angry bear. The Blade of the Ruin King. The Trinity Force, he managed to get so many repeats off on that Trinity Force, just pumping out damage, healing up, and they're gonna go once again for Baron here. The teleport from Ishan. They have the Blade of the Ruin King from Zero Zen. I feel like a broken record at this point, but it did work in the fight. It's gonna do work here, shredding down the Baron. It's going down so much faster here, and meanwhile, my brethren, the minions continuing their work, gonna take the inner turret down as well in the mid lane. So everything coming up Glacial Omen right now. They find themselves a Drake. They stop the soul, the Infernal Soul going the way of Imagine Wagons. They find themselves an inner turret and they find themselves Baron as well. What a narrow miss here from Monomania, threading the needle here between Zero Zen and Chaotic Obsidian. And that's going to be even more buys here. Chaotic Obsidian now with the Warmogs completed on top of the Cinder Hulk is going to be super tanky. Over 3,000 health. We'll have the Warmogs passive available as well. In the mid lane, Ishan going 8, 1, and 6, finding himself a couple kills. Has the Banshees built as well. He's building straight magic resistant tank right now. Wild Goose is not going to be able to do anything to him. Same as XX Wolf and Granddaddy Jack. As long as they can find and kill Monomania, there's just no threat here for Ishan. And Arizona did go down immediately in that fight. He's going to pick himself up the rapid fire cannon as well for a bit more range. Has picked up the Vamp Scepter, so if he doesn't go down immediately, will be able to sustain back up. But it's going to be the tidal wave. They're starting this up, but they only find Chaotic Obsidian, and he's found the Cataclysm on Spenlow. Spenlow getting shredded, but Chaotic Obsidian getting popped by the Super Mega Death Rocket. They managed to find X6 Wolf as well. Did use the Unstoppable Force and a good flash from Monomania to keep him alive. Zero Zen brought down extremely low, but with the heals, we'll be able to heal up, and it's going to be the ace in the hole there. While Gush's Granddaddy Jack's not in position to stop it, and that's Monomania down. This might be game here. The double kill, the Storm Razor pop, or was it the headshot? I can't even tell. Either way, it was a chunk of damage finding Granddaddy Jax there. And they're going to be able to take the inhibitor turret, the inhibitor in the mid lane. They're going to keep shoving, and they've got super minions. Only Wild Goose Chase left alive. He has to be careful. Going to flash away from the charging bear there. They run so fast on forward. And that's going to be a Nexus turret down. Dredsign missing. Wild Goose Chase with the fancy V just dodging everything out for now. But it's just not enough to stop the damage. Spenlow finally up. Will land one last bubble, but that's still going to be their Nexus going down 30 minutes, just under 31 minutes here, and it's going to be Glacial Omen winning this series 2-0 here in commanding fashion. 28-12 the final scoreline here. A lot of those kills coming in from those last final team fights. 7-1 in terms of turrets. Glacial Omen just dominating here. Game 1, we could chalk that up to Granddaddy Jax disconnecting, but Game 2 was just Glacial Omen playing so well with their team here. And looking at the final scoreline, 10-1-6 for Rashawn, 10-3-7 for Arizona. Playing so well here. Doesn't look at all like they were playing in Silver Division just last week. Just manhandling Imagine Wagons. That's not to say that Imagine Wagons didn't have their moments as well. They played extremely well in the early game, just holding on. They did have losing matchups here across the map, and Granddaddy Jax was just all over the place, stemming the bleeding, getting ganks off, securing objectives. They secured more dragons than Glacial Omen, despite being down the entire game. That's definitely a testament to the ability from Imagine Wagons, their resilience in the early game. Just so unfortunate in the mid game. They were just so far behind, did not manage to find the team fights they wanted to find. And to a certain extent, I have to question the effectiveness of the Corki pick. Yes, he was 4-4-1, but he wasn't really able to output as much damage as he as another mid lane champion might have been able to. I mean, replace that with a something like a Cassiopeia, a Syndra, which is extremely meta right now, and Echo. And we might have seen something different instead. The Echo from Wild Goose Chase in Game 1 felt like it had more impact here than the Corki here in Game 2. And Monomania desperately trying to get some impact in the game with the Jinx, but unfortunately just had all her kills stolen from her. Ended up 2-4-6, continuing to be the highest KP on the team alongside Granddaddy Jax. And she was putting out damage. The Jinx was putting out damage, but just could not get the kills. And without the kills, they couldn't get the gold and couldn't get the snowball going. And we look across the map, Arizona had 10-3-7. Was ridiculously fed. You just can't match that without the items. So extremely well played here from Glacial Omen. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of this from them here, because it was such a solid play, such a solid game here in this series for the side of Glacial Omen, and this is really the first look we get from them. So the teams joining the division this week, SFAD, Glacial Omen, just doing so well for themselves, and the vets will have their work cut out for them here to fire back and make sure that they don't just get run over here by SFAD, by Glacial Omen. So extremely well played, and that's it from us here at Coalition League. Thanks for tuning in, and Demacia division is done. We've just really got the Noxus division tomorrow. 2 series here to watch here from the Noxus division, and we did have a forfeit as well, unfortunately, from 7 men against Exnol. A bit of an issue with their timing. They couldn't quite get their team together, so they forfeited that one. So tomorrow we'll see DOB Nightfall versus MG Nitro at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're back to the regular time here, and at 5 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be Vengeful Reapers facing off against Glacial Inferno. So definitely great games to watch here, and With that, thank you all for tuning in, for watching. Appreciate you guys talking in chat as well, keeping me company. And we will have the Noxus games tomorrow, so hope to see you guys then. And if not, we'll see you on Friday.